Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Consistency Club podcast. If you are new here, then welcome. And if you've watched any of my other ones, what are you doing with your time? Of course, I'm only joking. It's world-class content. Today, I'm going to be going through some health articles, okay, some health news, some health and fitness related news that is circulating now. There is so much BS out there. And, people fall for it, and I don't blame them. The issue is everyone has a narrative to push when it comes, whether it's OZEMPIC, whether it's, anything to do with health and fitness. Everyone has slightly different opinions. And after that opinion is remotely polarizing, it sells copy of their books, or it gets them booked onto podcasts, or they appear in mainstream news. And you have to be very, very wary of that. We're not talking about a product that people can buy here. We're talking about someone's health. Literally, like, how long do they have on this planet? What is their longevity? And that has to be taken really, really seriously. So in this week's episode, we're going to go into some, and I'm going to use a couple of sources. I've currently got the page for the Independent up, and I'm going to run through some articles that are showing here on the homepage and the titles, because there's a lot of gaslighting going on, and give my opinion on those. And then I'm going to touch on, towards the end, some research that I've been doing on the LinkedIn platform. I've been asking 4 questions regarding to health and fitness and its relation to people in business, their success, their financial success, and all these kind of things. And the answers have been really, really interesting so far. So I wanted to touch on some of them, raise a few points in my opinion. So thrilled to have you here. Let's get into the episode. So first of all, as I said, I'm on the homepage of the Independence website. And then I've typed in health and weight loss. And we're going to go through some of the first ones that stand out, because it's very, very interesting. You can start to see the mainstream narrative that is painted around these things. And to be fair, the Independent usually do somewhat of an okay job. First of all, Ed Gamble. So there's an article here that says, Ed Gamble used to weigh himself every day amid obsessive weight loss. The issue with that headline is like, and do you know what? Let's click into the article. Ed Gamble used to weigh himself every day amid obsessive weight loss. I didn't have a social life. Comedian lost 7 stone in his early 20s and had to watch his more obsessive tendencies. First of all, like, how about a narrative that says, wow, look at this incredible life-changing weight loss? First of all, when you're going on a weight loss journey, there's going to be some things that you're going to have to do that may come across slightly obsessive. It's not necessarily the way you want to live your life in the long run. But equally, like, you're on that journey, you're on that path, there's going to have to be some sacrifice. It also says here, as I read out, I didn't have a social life. Well, unfortunately, particularly here in the UK and all over the world really, social events revolve around food and drink. They have done for thousands, if not hundreds and thousands of years. So if you're trying to lose weight and you're going out to restaurants, there's alcohol involved. Like, you are going to have to make some sacrifices. I've competed in bodybuilding. I didn't do anything for 6 months. Why? Like, I lived a complete, like, draconian, obsessive lifestyle. Even those closest to me are like, what the hell are you doing? 1, you look ill because you're so skinny. 2, you can't do anything. You got no energy. I get it, but I had an end goal. I committed to that goal and I was going to achieve it. And now I look back and I go, well, that was one of the coolest experiences of my life. I learned so much about myself. It was character building. I learned that I had 2, 3, 4 more levels than I ever thought I did in terms of what I was capable of. And I've taken that into other aspects of my life. So it was a learning process for me. And that goes for anyone looking to lose weight. Like, it's a strange conversation to frame the narrative as he was obsessive and he weighed himself every day and I didn't have a social life. Well, why not? Okay, he went through this period for, an elongated amount of time. He lost 7 stone. He changed his life. He changed his health trajectory. Yes, it sucked for that period of time, but guess what? If you want something bad enough, you're going to have to sacrifice something. So there's a lot of, like, mainstream narrative now around celebrating with, like, overweight models and all these kind of things is so dangerous. Celebrate the success of someone that's been on that journey they put in the graph. Once you get to the end result, then you balance it out. You open up your life again. You can have some alcohol, you can have some food, you can live the life that you actually want to live, because now you're in the physical body and you have the health that you want to maintain for the rest of your life, and then you can continue to optimize from there. So that, first and foremost, I just want to cover that on here and get rid of that narrative. Like, if you are looking to lose weight, you're going to have to make sacrifices. You're going to have to do things daily that you do not want to do. You're going to have to exercise discipline, not rely on motivation. You may not be able to go to that social event. So let that sink in. Secondly, let's go to, what else have we got on here? And we've got Wegovy now as well as Ozempic in terms of drugs for weight loss, which we'll touch on now, actually. And actually, there's one here that says, more info needed on weight loss jabs impact on type 2 diabetes. Look, let's actually touch on that now. Ozempic is, big craze. It helps with fat loss. Guess what? Eat less, move more. Yes, there's lifestyle things. Maybe you've got thyroid issues, menopause if you're a woman, lower testosterone as a male as you get older. Like, all of these things will have an impact on metabolism, your body's storing and burning of fat, like all of these things, of course. But we're injecting ourselves with something to help us lose weight as a quick fix. It absolutely blows my mind, and it sums us up now, and it petrifies me for the generations to come. Like, that quick fix that we want in business and our finances is translating to our health. How about implementing lifestyle changes? If you don't change your lifestyle, you just stab a drug into you every now and then. What happens when you come off it? You're going to rely on that drug your whole life? What happens when you come off it? What have you learned through the process? You've learned that you've taken a drug which has blunted your appetite, and you've lost the weight. Okay. Well, what happens if your appetite kicks back in? Have you learned anything through that process? Have you learned what makes you tick? Have you learned like a bio profile of yourself? Have you learned like what are your maintenance calories? No. It frustrates me no end. People turn to medical application before looking at, okay, what can I control before I do that? And like I said, it blows my mind. So anyone that's considering it, and of course, like, you'll go to a doctor and they're incredible at what they do, but like, a doctor will apply a medicine, right? What medicine do I align with that issue? Rather than actually assessing holistically. And I believe they're getting better at this. But Dana White touched on it this week, actually. So, and I'm digressing slightly here, but Dana White has been part of 10x Health. 10x Health. It's run by a guy called Gary Becker. I urge you to go and check him out. 10x is the business run by Grant Cardone, American businessman, and he created 10x Health off the back of working with Gary to lengthen his life. And what 10x Health will do is they will screen you, and based on the data that they give out, they can actually predict how long you have left to live. Dana White was told, after working with Gary and getting his test done, he had 10 years. He had one more decade on this planet, and then it was done. Of course, give or take a few years, but that's the trajectory that he was on. And he spoke about, and maybe I'll link this below, he spoke about how he was constantly with doctors, booking appointments, speaking to them, trying to get advice. He said he would bend over, his legs would ache, his feet would swell up, he was in pain, he was breathless, etc., etc. And the doctors constantly told him there's nothing really wrong. They ran a few bloods, and it's because, within that situation, they were slightly stuck. Their knowledge, and he touched on it, actually, like, if I got a broken arm, I'll go to a doctor. They're brilliant at what they do. When it comes to holistic health and actually prevention rather than a cure, like, they're there to cure. They're there for ailments, not for preventative measures. And actually, I'm so happy that stuff like 10x is around now. Obviously, what I do in the Consistency Club is a huge part of that as well, to change that narrative. And anyway, so that's completely changed his life. He did all of that through lifestyle. Right? He didn't take any drugs. He cold water therapy, infrared sauna, right, sauna, I think 3 times a week, 20 minutes or something like that, breath work, nutrition, training. And that's it. And if you see the photos of his journey, it's incredible. And anyone who goes, I haven't got time for that, this guy is president of the UFC. He's flying around the world constantly. He's matchmaking, he's booking fights, he's got non-stop press conferences, as well as all the other businesses that he's involved in. I can pretty much guarantee he's busier than you are. And he doesn't make an excuse. Of course, there's an argument of, okay, maybe he's got some flexibility in his day because he's at the top of the table to go, do you know what? I'm going for a 20-minute sauna. And everyone else can fuck off. I'm going to do what I want. Okay, that's fine. But still, it's prioritization. Prioritization's a key word with that. So please, like, if anyone's considering OZEMPIC, what have you done in your life, first of all, to curtail the issues that you're experiencing and change your trajectory? Because if you've done nothing and you're looking for medicine to help, there's a mindset issue at play there as much as a physical one. So there's one here also that says intermittent fasting, no better for weight loss than calorie counting. Okay, so interesting, because mainstream media, has been all over intermittent fasting. It was a bit of a buzzword, and everyone kind of jumped on it, took to it, and implemented it within their lifestyle. I don't wholeheartedly believe in their statement, and I don't think there's enough true information out there to make that true. But ultimately, what people did is they turned to intermittent fasting as an excuse to eat lower quality foods or to cram foods later on in the day. So they just push their eating window back. Then later on in the day, they end up eating just as much calories as they would have done holistically across the day anyway. And they're right in that sense. Like, ultimately, if you're counting calories and you make sure you are consuming less calories than you are burning, you're going to be losing weight. Now, outside of that, intermittent fasting for quality of life, for productivity, for energy levels, for vitality, if you do it for long enough, autophagy, so like the rejuvenation or getting rid of dead cells within the body, absolutely unbelievable. I'm a huge proponent for intermittent fasting. A lot of my clients intermittent fast. And for anyone, who needs to be locked in, particularly early on in the day, it's a great solution. And it can help. Like, for a lot of people, pushing back your eating window, which is essentially what you're doing, right? Let's say you would usually eat at 8 a.m., then you go to work, or 7 a.m., then you go to work. Then you're eating again at 12, then you're snacking, then you're eating again at dinner time, then you want to snack before bed. Intermittent fasting, you're literally not eating till, let's say, 12, 1 o'clock. So by the time you've had your lunch, a little bit of a snack, dinner, one, it's a good amount of food in a shorter window, so you're satiated and you've eaten less, and that's why it works. But for some people, they will, they'll use intermittent fasting as a way to go and eat the rubbish foods, because they feel like, oh, do you know what? I feel, my eating window's been pushed back. I haven't eaten that much today. And that's where it can be dangerous. I personally don't believe you should ever do intermittent fasting for the reason of fat loss. If you're going for fat loss or weight loss, and then you turn to intermittent fasting without understanding its benefits outside of that, that's, again, a dangerous mindset to have. I think if you're doing it for the health benefits and for the daily energy benefits, 100%. And then have a system that makes sure you're calorie counting around that, so you can be accurate if your goal is fat loss. But it's interesting that narrative is starting to change now. And I'm just reading the opening statement too. So it says, time restricted eating, commonly known as intermittent fasting, may produce similar weight loss results for adults with obesity compared to traditional calorie counting, according to new study. A small clinical trial whose results were published on Tuesday in the journal Annual of Internal Medicine found that participants who engaged in 8-hour time restricted eating had improved insulin sensitivity. It's so funny with these things, because what they do, they paint a headline and then the bulk of the article kind of contradicts the headline. It's so interesting. So yeah, look, it can improve insulin sensitivity, of course. But again, making good food choices, not loading yourself with carbohydrates and sugar, will improve insulin sensitivity. So don't believe everything that you read. I believe intermittent fasting is a great practice. you have to have a strategy around the calories and the food sources that you're choosing as well. Let's explore what else have we got. Lifestyle. Doctors warn about Ozempic face side effects of diabetes medications. There we go. That's coming out. We touched on that already. FDA warns against off-brand version of Ozempic for weight loss. Goes on. There's another one. New obesity jab that sparked diabetic row could get NHS green light. It's crazy. It is crazy. Here we go. Going sober could be the key to fitness success. No shit. No shit. What happens, right, when you've drunk alcohol? Like, if you're drinking beer, well, it's full of carbohydrates, you've got calories, etc. So that's first of all. Equally, you feel absolutely terrible. You get a dreadful night's sleep. You're dehydrated. Already two things that have a big impact on weight. And then the next day, what do you want? You don't want a nice bowl of green salad with some chicken or some eggs. You want carbs and soda. You want chips. You just want all the shit. So yeah, guess what? Like, going sober will improve your health, let alone like weight loss journey, your overall health and longevity. And that's why I say to people so often, like, you have to exercise restriction rather than abstinence. A lot of people I work with, particularly the men actually, tend to be all in. So like, they're either doing something or they're not. They're either not drinking at all for 3 months, or they're getting on it. And that's a very dangerous mindset. And that's why I always preach restriction rather than abstinence. Have a system in place that allows you to have the things that you enjoy little and often, so that like negative effects doesn't compound. That's vitally important. But at the end of the day, there's no two ways about it. You are sipping on poison, which when you think about it is ridiculous. And the only reason it's so mainstream now, and actually I do think I see more and more people in my generation, like I'm coming up to the back end of my 20s, 30, I see more and more people in my generation that do not drink, abstain from drinking, or, you know, drink irregularly. My mum and dad's generation, for example, I think just societally is very different. Like, alcohol was more involved and embedded into life. And I think generations to come, like, that will change again. I generally believe, you know, maybe my children's generation, the education that's out there now, the narrative around drinking would have changed so much that I don't think many of them will extend it through life. I think, you know, we all got to get to that stage where we're old enough, you want to go out, you start drinking, you have a good few years, but I think that'll quickly die off. So interesting, and that's going to have a huge impact on longevity. If you think of people who have been sipping on poison every week for, you know, their entire life, since they were 16, 17, 18 years old, all the way to 50, 60, 70, imagine the compounding effect that has on your body, on your internal organs, on everything. Now, don't get me wrong, like, half a glass of red or something with your evening meal, there's some studies that suggest the stress reducing factor for that can be extremely positive. And so there's a balance to be had. Like, being social with your friends in an environment and having a few pints and having a laugh, like, what's the effect on that? Reducing stress. And that's, you know, the impact of that over a long period of time. Like, that's, you know, you have to consider all of these things, but ultimately it's kind of, you know, simple stuff. If you stop drinking the poison, yes, you are going to be healthier. Another one here, artificial sweeteners do not aid weight loss. WHO warns. Look, we're quickly learning now, and we've known secretly for a long time, but now it's becoming mainstream, that artificial sweeteners, aspartame, all these things that are in the sugar-free drinks that we've been drinking can cause cancer, and are not as good for us as we've been told. Again, mainstream narrative isn't exactly what it seems. Shock horror. But equally, like, I think we all deep down knew that already. You know, I think all of us knew. How can you replace something? How can that taste so nice? How can you chemically produce something that allows that to taste so nice, like the full sugar version, but it have no calories? Like, okay, something's hiding there, but I do slightly disagree with their statement here of artificial sweeteners do not aid weight loss. Like, ultimately, there are still no calories in artificial sweeteners. if I go back to prep, for example, when I had a sweet tooth or a craving, like I would have a can. I think they do them in Aldi here in the UK. A can of like zero sugar, essentially a knockoff version of Fanta, and it would do me wonders. It satiated me. It curtailed that sweet craving. It was no calories, so I wasn't at risk of going over on my calories. Um, it was carbonated, so in terms of that satiation, it keeps you satiated for slightly longer, and it's satisfying. It works well for me, so it served its purpose there. Ultimately, if you took two people, one drank full fat Coke for 6 weeks, and one drank Diet Coke for 6 weeks on exactly the same diet and exercise routine, guess which one's going to weigh slightly more at the end? So I disagree with their statement, but I do equally say you have to exercise with caution when it comes to these sweeteners now, because interesting information is starting to come to light, which I think we already knew. Maybe we were slightly in denial of as well. What else have we got here? More along the weight loss jab set for UK approval for diabetes and heart patients. And again, so Ozempic is a diabetes drug. And now it's like, oh, helps us lose weight. Let's stab ourselves with that. So much about that here. Celebrity weight loss jab Ozempic to be available on Weight Watchers. Oh, fuck me. Oh, dear, oh dear, oh dear. I did not see that one. Let's click into that. That's worth a tap. And that's what this is. Oh, God. Weight Watchers has acquired telehealth provider Sequence that offers users access to drugs used to treat diabetes and obesity under the brand names including Ozempic, Wegovy, and Trulicity. That is absolutely petrifying. Here, come sign up to Weight Watchers and we'll jab you up with a drug that helps you lose 3 stone in 3 months. And people just go, fucking hell, 3 stone, 3 months? And I don't even have to do much for it. Sign me up. Petrifying. Please, if you are listening to this, if even one person listening to this is hearing what I'm saying and going, okay, maybe I should look into that a little bit more, consider what can I control in my lifestyle and be the master of my own destiny before stabbing myself with a drug. Please don't do that. Please, get professional help if you want professional help. Like, find a coach, find a personal trainer, find someone who can guide you to eat well, to train well, to understand yourself. Find a lifestyle pattern that works for you, a structure and a routine system that is built around your lifestyle. That's the sole reason why I started the Consistency Club, is to create a bespoke solution for people that fits around their lifestyle, their work life, their home life, all of the variables that go into what makes them them. Their likes, their dislikes, how are they motivated, how much time do they have available, what is their goal over the next 36, 12 months. And we do it organically and provide a hell of a lot of education along the way. Or you can go stab yourself with one of the 3 previous named drugs, but that is totally up to you. Meghan McCain urged to take Ozempic 4 weeks after giving birth. Carly Richards responds to frustrating Ozempic weight loss rumors. God. Okay, I'm going to get off this page now because it's slowly frustrating me, and I appreciate you guys can't actually see what I'm looking at. So yeah, interesting. The mainstream narrative continues to run with the thing that will get the most clicks, which is absolutely evident. And we've got new drugs providing a quick and easy fix for people, and I'm absolutely petrified of what that means down the line. But let's go on to something else now. I'm going to lock that screen. I wanted to touch on some research I've been doing on LinkedIn. So I've been asking people 4 questions, and those 4 questions relate to the juxtaposition between their job and how easy it is for them to execute on a health and fitness routine, how much they think their health and their fitness and their physique impacts their ability to perform successfully in their job, be a good person to be around for their family, serve their teams well in business, and serve their business and their career ultimately, and their finances, of course. and what they've done in the past to overcome obstacles, to lose weight, or to try and achieve the goals that they set out for themselves. And the questions have been so mixed. It's been very, very, very interesting. And one thing that is evident to me is there are a lot of people out there who have come back and said, I don't believe there's any link. Particularly question 4. And question 4 was, in fact, let me get question 4 up so I can be really, really accurate here for you. Here we go. So essentially, question 4 is aimed around what do they think the impact is on their finances, on their career, etc., in relation to their health and fitness. And yeah, some interesting replies. So question 4 was this: do you think there's a connection between your health and the way you look and feel, and your career, financial, and relationship success within your life? The amount of people that say no, I see no tangible link between these two things, was worrying at best for me. The reason being, you serve those around you, you serve your family, you serve your bank balance, you serve your business, you serve your career. You are a separate entity to all of those things. And a lot of people get jaded and see themselves as what they do or how much money they have, or see themselves as their business, and they fail to separate them. When you separate them, you can then understand why being on top of your game in terms of your health, the one thing, like the foundation of us as an individual, is our health, our energy, the frequency we give off. And like, if you just look at business, it's so interesting. Like, you don't get a second chance at first impressions in business. And if someone looks at you and, you know, you're in shape, you take care of yourself. Let's say you're in business development. You know, I come from that world myself, work with a lot of people in that world. And when someone sees you and they see you're in shape, the amount of questions I used to have when I was in that world around like, God, you obviously train. What do you do to train? Like, you look after yourself. You must be regimented and all of these things. And they were, you know, they were right. And so people will entrust their business in you in that case, as opposed to someone, you know, who's a little bit sloppy, a little bit out of shape, doesn't look after themselves. Even, like, this sounds so superficial. And even if 90% of you listening listen to this and go, nah, I wouldn't think that. Everyone thinks this. It's subconscious. The way we're wired. Like, you're immediately judging people from the minute you meet them. And that is life. There's nothing we will ever do about that. And so, you know, if you're a little bit sloppy, you can't take care of yourself, and that, you know, subconsciously, it's like, you can't control what's going into your mouth, or whether you exercise, you can't look after your own health. How are you going to look after my business? And like, there's such an interesting link between those two things. Equally, if you're 10% more productive in a day, which having the right health and fitness routine absolutely will deliver to you, 100%, unquestioned, undoubtedly, what's the compounding impact of that over a 12-month, 18-month, 10-year period for your business? What if that allows you to get each task done 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes quicker? What if it allows you to get each task done, be it a meeting, be it a presentation, whatever it may be, with an extra 10% quality? Compound that over time, and that directly impacts your financial success, your career success. Then we look at your family life and your relationships. If you are full of energy, you're a better person to be around. Like, consider, like, even for those closest to you, your wife, your husband, your children, whatever it may be, consider what is the experience for them like when you're in the room. And that's probably quite an interesting topic. People thinking now, fucking hell, we had a right row last night. But like, generally think about that anytime you meet anyone. What experience did I leave them with? And when you start doing that, you understand, oh God, you know what? When you reflect, like, what gets measured gets improved. And a lot of people don't ponder that. But when you reflect and you think, oh God, I wasn't good in that conversation. Let's say you go to a networking event. And I've done these before. And whether I've had a terrible night's sleep, or I'm down in the dumps, or, you know, my health's not good, my immune system's all flared up, I've got a cold, whatever it may be. Your ability to hold a conversation, nurture a conversation, is so dramatically decreased. And you often come away thinking, oh my God, that was like, I don't actually know what I got out of that. I can't remember people's names. I can't remember the conversation. I can't even remember if I gave a business card. Like, and then you reflect back, okay, what could I have done to fix that problem? Did I consume carbs close to the event that took all the blood and oxygen from my brain down into my digestive system? Did I have an energy slump? Did I actually, what was my sleep like the night before? Okay, why have I got a cold? Like, can I prevent myself from getting these colds all the time? Am I exercising? Am I going through the right heart rate zones? What's your morning routine? What's your night routine? Are you just on your phone scrolling Instagram and TikTok until you go, oh, okay, I should probably go to bed now, an hour late? Or do you have a routine? Do you read before bed? Do you dial down? Or do you wear blue light blockers? Equally, when you get up, do you get up after snoozing your alarm 20 times, rush to have a shower, chuck some clothes on, grab a piece of toast, run out the door? High stress environment. Or do you get up on your first alarm? Do you have a morning routine that allows you to wake up slowly? You hydrate. Maybe you do some stretching. Maybe you go for a workout. Get a run in, at least go for a walk. Get some sunlight. Cold shower, breath work, whatever it may be, and start your day the best physical version of yourself. The answer for most people, unfortunately, this isn't to patronize because I didn't do it for a long time. And you know, it's a huge part of what we do inside the Consistency Club now. If the answer is no, then you're not presenting yourself in the best light. You're not being the best person you can be for your team. You're not being the best person you can be for your family and your finances down the line. So the fact people say no to that absolutely baffles me. And usually it's because, you know, they know internally and like if they looked intrinsically, I'm not doing enough. I don't really prioritize my health. My nutrition's not great. I'm just stuck in the same routine I've been in for 20 years, 30 years. But it is what it is. It's me and I just run with it. It's got me to where I am today. Those are the people that reply in the answers and say, no, can't see any link to that. And it's so interesting because those are the people, you know, in terms of risk, like all-cause mortality disease moving forward, and all of those things, you know, their trajectory is going to be worse off. And it's simply like, it's just a mindset thing. They switched their mindset and realized, okay, I've got this far by being a subpar version of myself. How much more can I get out of me as an individual? Like, the growth is exponential from that in all areas of their life. And people often see health and fitness as a bit of a blocker. Like, oh, I can't take this time out to go and train because it's detracting from business, or, you know, I've got travel today, or I've got meetings, or I'm super tired, and it just seems it's like a block. Before you know, a week on week on week is gone and you've not executed on anything. When you see it is the opposite and you prioritize it and you see it as a way to bolster your performance on a day, that's where true growth is. So it's been interesting. I'll keep touching on these conversations and let you know how the research goes. We're over 30 minutes now, so I will end this episode here. I just want to end on a note in terms of mainstream media and the narratives that are pushed, because it's fucking unbelievable, some of them. Please, before going on any weight loss drug, make sure you have ticked every single box within your power to create lasting change in your life. If it's the worst case scenario, it's the last thing that you do, fine. Do it and try build a system off the back end that allows you to sustain those results. Of course, without taking the drug continuously. But if you're not activating on everything that you can do, nutrition, sleep, hydration, training, and all these things, of course there has to be balance. But if you've not maximized all of these things and you're just considering taking a drug, please change your mindset. For the sake of your longevity, for the sake of those around you, that has to change. And if you need professional help to do so, then get professional help to do so. And, you know, we'll end there. Hopefully you found this somewhat valuable. We'll keep doing these kind of current events sections. I think there's some value in there just to give my opinion on them. And hopefully, you know, if it rubs off or improves at least one of your lives and you make a positive decision because of that, then the podcast has done its job. So thank you so much. Again, if you've enjoyed it, you found any value, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a comment on your opinion of mainstream media when it comes to health and fitness. Whether you believe what you read, whether you understand that they're full of crap a lot of the time. Interested to know. And there's no judgment on my side. We'll engage in the comments and maybe we can build a podcast episode around it and get some people on to discuss it. But thank you so much and take care. Speak soon.